smug really suits me. So tired after a big walk, hey? What are your thoughts on utilitarian cosmopolitan Rocco? Bit boring. I can't type like this. Comfy boy. There's a gizmo under the bed. Excuse me. It's mine. Breathing for you. Breathing for you. Breathing for you. Breathing for you. Okay, so in this video I thought it would be cool to kind of sit down and talk philosophy with you guys. As you probably know, I study philosophy, so I did my undergraduate degrees. I did a Bachelor of Global Studies and then a Bachelor of Arts, and with my arts degree I majored in sociology and philosophy. And the way I actually came to major in philosophy is kind of funny. I enrolled in my arts degree because I knew I wanted to major in sociology, but I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted my second major to be, or a minor to be. And I liked the fact that a Bachelor of Arts gave me the freedom to kind of decide once I'd already started. And so I was in my second year of university, and I don't think it was my boyfriend at the time, but we ended up dating for about a year and a half after that. He told me when I was really stumped for what subjects I should enroll in, because I didn't know what I wanted my major to be. He suggested I give philosophy a go because I had read a little bit of Peter Singer and he thought I would really enjoy philosophy. So I enrolled into a early modern Western philosophy and a bioethics course, and I figured I'd give it a go and maybe use that as a minor if I didn't like it. I was going to major or minor in visual arts, but as it turns out I actually really enjoyed philosophy, and so I decided that was going to be my second major. So I'm forever grateful for that boy, because without him I probably would have never enrolled in philosophy, and I love philosophy so much. I'm doing my honours degree this year and I'm majoring in philosophy for that. So my honours thesis is looking at cosmopolitanism as the preferred theory of global justice in an increasingly globalised world, and I'm looking at different normative approaches to cosmopolitanism, so utilitarian and deontological. I find philosophy so fascinating. I've always been, when I was younger, I probably would have considered myself to be like a spiritual person, but as I've gotten older, I think I wasn't really spiritual as such. I was just like a very philosophical person. I'd always kind of been interested in like these big questions about like the meaning of life and, you know, how do we act morally, what is right and wrong within the world, all those sorts of things. So when it comes to philosophy, I am mostly interested in moral philosophy. So primarily normative ethics and applied ethics, not so much meta ethics. So normative ethics looks at kind of like prescriptive ways of how we ought to act morally, and then applied ethics is looking at more specific applications that ethics can have on different world issues. So I'm interested in like the ethics of globalization, I'm interested in animal rights, human rights, that kind of stuff. When it comes to philosophy, I'm also more broadly kind of interested in a little bit of like political philosophy and social contract theory. I really like social contract theory and the contributions that Thomas Hobbes made to that, and also John Locke. I really like the notions of justice, political obligation and authority, and obviously human rights in there. A little bit of distributive justice, but I don't think I've really read enough or like looked into distributive justice enough to say that that's like kind of one of my things. I don't mind philosophy of mind. I did a class in my undergrad on philosophy of mind, and I found it interesting, but it's not really what I'm like super passionate about when it comes to philosophy. So I thought what I would do, because I get asked this a lot, is share some of my favourite philosophy books with you guys. I first got into philosophy when a friend of mine gave me a book by Peter Singer, because I was always interested in international development, global development, that kind of thing. So my friend, she gave me this book, and I've done a bit more of a detailed review of this book on my channel in a video called Do We Have Moral Obligations to Help the World's Poor? So this is The Life You Can Save by Peter Singer. It was the first Peter Singer book that I read, and I have a few more of his books, but I have half of my books here, and then the other half of my books are all at my parents' house in the spare room. The second book of Peter Singer's that I read was One World Now, The Ethics of Globalization, and this book was kind of like my primary reading and what kind of inspired my honours thesis topic. The Ethics of What We Eat is another really good one. So Peter Singer promotes like a vegetarian diet, and this book is really interesting. It looks at 3 different families, and one of them eats like a standard American diet. One of them are conscious omnivores, and then another family of vegans. Wow, I've got 2 doggos. It looks at the ethical, health and environmental aspects of their diets. And Peter Singer also wrote Animal Liberation, which was kind of like a very pivotal book within the animal rights movement and philosophy. So that was also one of the first books of his that I read. I love Peter Singer. He's probably my favourite contemporary philosopher. And it's funny because he's a utilitarian, and I don't know if I would necessarily consider myself a utilitarian, but I love his work. I think it really challenges me and my more deontological beliefs. And yeah, I'm so compelled by everything of Peter Singer's that I read. Oh, Gizmo. I'm also really interested in existentialism. So a few of my favourite books within that area. I really enjoyed reading Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex, but it's not my favourite. I'd say my favourite, and I always encourage people to read this book, is Albert Camus' The Stranger. It's a novel, and it kind of introduces Albert Camus' existentialism, which is a controversial thing to say because he never considered himself an existentialist. But I find his philosophy fascinating. I think I can relate to it a lot. He had these kind of initially like nihilistic seeming views on like the world, and that, you know, our life is kind of, everyone's life is equally as meaningless as everyone else's. Blah, 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 death is inevitable, all these kinds of things. But then he kind of like comes together at the end, and he basically says, yes, this is true, but you've only got one life, you might as well live it. And Albert Camus, as well as being so gorgeous, he just used to live like his best life. He was living his best life. He was always surrounded by women. He was always doing like nice things, and just like, that's like basically, you know, how I try and live my life. You too, stop it. I love a bit of Karl Marx. This is kind of like the sociologist in me. Obviously, Karl Marx was like one of the founding fathers of conflict theory within sociology. And I've had to read a lot of Marx in philosophy. A few other really good books that I've read over the years that I would recommend anyone who's kind of interested in philosophy read would be The Power of Now If you're interested in philosophy of mind, I found that really interesting. I remember reading that while I was like overseas, and I think I read like the whole book on like an 8-hour flight. I loved it. I think another good one is, if you're interested in like Eastern philosophy, the Dalai Lama's, I think it's called The Art of Happiness. I read that, and I've always been really interested in Buddhism and like Eastern philosophies as well. And I found that really resonated with me, and it made really interesting comparisons to like Western philosophy and Eastern philosophy. And I don't know, it's like very cliche. White girl was traveling around Asia, but I read that while I was backpacking through Southeast Asia, and I really enjoyed it, so I recommend that one. If you're kind of interested in philosophy, books like this one that kind of just like outline different things. So if you're interested in like moral philosophy or ethics, actually, you can get books like these ones on like Amazon, and they just like really simply like introduce like a topic, and they're so easy to read. Every time I do a university subject on a topic within philosophy that I'd never really looked at before, I always like to read books like this. So I did critical theory in my undergrad. I really liked critical theory. Who did I like? I liked, obviously, looking at Karl Marx. I liked Hegel. I really liked Hegel. I think if you're interested in anything from feminism, even like sociology or postmodernism, looking at critical theory, it's a really interesting school of thought, especially I think it's the Frankfurt School. Fascinating stuff. I love critical theory as well. But yeah, that's my little spiel. I hope you guys find this interesting. If you have any favorite philosophy books, definitely feel free to let me know below what your favorites are so that others can give them a go as well.
You two just can't keep quiet, can you?
I'm trying to limit my caffeine intake to 2 coffees a day, which for me is really difficult, but I'm doing it, and this is my second coffee for the day, so I'm gonna savor it and enjoy it. And then I'm probably gonna head to the supermarket because I do my grocery shopping on a Sunday or a Monday, and I'm gonna buy my groceries for the week and probably do a little bit of meal prep because I've been meal prepping lately, and it is so good. I don't need to like worry about cooking dinner before work. I just cook like a bunch of stir fries or lentils, pasta, vegetables, whatever at the beginning of the week, and then I have all my dinners frozen. I can just take them to work and zap them in the microwave. So I'm gonna have a break from studying because my brain is also just in overdrive at the moment. Go to the shops, do a bit of meal prep, and then probably study a little bit more this evening. I had a craving for nachos, so I've made nachos for dinner. Oh, and look who's come to have a little taste. Sit down, come on. I'm trying to watch Four Corners. Some investigative journalism. What are you doing? What's up? What do you want?
I can imagine.
I don't know, what do you want? You had my leftovers. What more could you want?
The New York Times was also quick to get on board.
So I made an Instagram for Rocco the other day. It's at Sweet Rocco, if you guys want to follow him. I have a lot of fun with it. I think I like it more than my own Instagram. Okay, so Rocky Boy and I are just gonna spend the rest of the night chilling in bed, doing some non-university related work. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, giving you a little bit of an insight into a day in my life as I'm doing my honours degree. I should put a disclaimer out and kind of just say that even though I am a full-time uni student, I kind of only really dedicate like 1 day or 2 days a week to university because I'm busy every other day of the week doing other things. I've got other priorities as well as university, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope maybe if you're interested in philosophy a little bit, you might give some of those books I suggested a read, and let me know if you like this video and you want me to make similar videos. And I guess I'll see you guys in my upcoming videos. Say good night. Good night. He's very sleepy.